after Derby Day still, right? Second.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Do we have anybody slotted for that day?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
If anybody has a suggestion, I actually thought our speaker last month that talked about caregiver burnout, but I'd kind of like to explore that a little further to see if I can find someone that's actually deals with caregiver burnout, you know.
Like therapy wise? You mean like
therapy
For
wise?
something for the families, you know, like a support, some kind of a support group, you know, like you have support groups for the families of AA folks or Gamblers Anonymous, and those folks have grief support groups.
There's quite there's quite a few of those. Between myself, Allison, and Chris, you probably have some support groups too. You're more independent, so I don't know how well connected you are, but I'm sure you have some. I can look into that.
Yeah, if y'all can send me any leads for speakers, that would be fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go for a little bit here, is to see, you know, what, and I realize it's just us, but you know, who or what topics should we try to focus on, you know, that you'd like to learn more about, so that when we're scheduling these meetings, we can sort of have a little bit of an idea of what people would like to explore in this particular area. And I agree with Laura. I think the presentation last month was really good, and it's a pretty hot topic in this area, because it is huge, with so many of the baby boomers coming on into retirement years. This is a topic that is going to be front and center for a long time. It's not something that's going to be gone in a year or so. So if you all have any suggestions from what you all see, you know, Chris, I'm not trying to single you out, but you're, you know, in the industry, you get to see a lot of that, I would assume, more so than I do from my profession. So what topics or what areas do you see or get requests from of the people that you're working with? That might be one place we could find some interesting topics, interesting speakers.
So, yeah, we might even look, I'm trying to think, like the non-medical caregivers, like home instead, you know, those type of, are any of those chamber members? Are any of those folks chamber members of Middletown?
I mean, we've had in the
Home
past.
Instead is not.
Who?
Bright Star is located in Middletown. Are they chamber members?
I don't think so.
I can see their card in front of my face. Chris Ballantyne.
Interim Healthcare.
Yeah.
They're a member. Now,
They're a
Chris is no
member.
longer with them. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, yes, I knew Chris.
But they have spoken to our group, gosh, way back in the beginning.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about long-term care, insurance policies, and they were very enlightening.
Tom?
Yeah.
I had an idea about maybe starting a resource list of all the members and the services that they provide, and the next time, and put it in like the chamber directory as a resource guide for senior care, and show the services that our group provide. You know, list all the nursing homes and the areas that they cover, all the home caregivers, the CPAs, attorneys, and insurance agents, real estate agents, and what their specialty is, you know, like our 2-minute commercial that we do each meeting, but put it in writing and publish it. And put it on our
website.
Make it available to people, because I have clients all the time that are asking me, well, I'm looking for a nursing home for somebody that has Alzheimer's and can't move around or can do all these specialty things. And I know some of the homes do and some of the homes don't. And some of the home caregivers will go out to Shelby County, some won't. And just their general geographical areas and their expertise and what kind of, I think it's more like our elevator speech in writing.
Well, Laura, how hard would that be? I mean, from a web standpoint, you know, that I don't think that would be, other than just getting the information assembled, put, you know, quote unquote, publishing it.
I think it'd be a great thing we could put on the website, so it's accessible to anybody that would want to look at it.
Okay.
We could also do like a trifold to hand out to people.
Well, now you're talking some dollars to publish that.
Well, but if we do it as if you just have it printed as a PDF, and then if somebody wants it, we would publish it or print it out ourselves.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
we could
That way
send it
there's
to
not a
them.
cost. If it's set up, you know,
And you can
online,
email it to them.
yeah, right. Or print it out yourself if you want to do a handout. And that way there's not a cost to the association other than just getting it, you know.
Yeah, because
laid
I
out.
think anytime you put something like together, it's about the time you have it printed, something's changed. Either you
Right.
need to add somebody, delete somebody, change a contact.
Big
I
laugh.
will say that in this industry, in the senior industry, with the members that I'm dealing with, there is a ton of turnover and changes. I just got another one yesterday.
Is that a
and it just-
turnover in staff or?
I don't know if
Well-
they're promotions, but I know that as far as my contacts constantly change,
So
especially with
who just changed, Laura, so that I can update?
anthology.
Oh, yeah.
Dan,
Yeah.
well, you know, Dan
Dan's not
Lane was
there.
there,
Right.
and I gotta see who the name of the new person is. Hold on.
Lane's
Yep.
already left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's at, where is he now?
He just left a week or two ago from Anthology.
Oh, he just left from Anthology.
Uh-huh. He
Yeah,
was
hold
at,
on.
Retired?
no,
Okay.
Let me look. Let me go to
God.
my emails.
so
Yeah,
they had just a regional person there, Laura, but I don't know if that's still who.
Let me see. She reached out to me and told me to change her name.
Oh, she may have been the marketing person that he had hired.
Is that,
I gotta pull it up.
Amanda, no, that was before.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. You can't keep track of them. I try to keep everybody in my,
And I'm going, yeah, I mean.
either that or they're on maternity leave. That group of girls, I swear, they're like
That's the-
rabbits.
yeah, that's the trilogy girls. That is not the story point. Yeah, that would be the trilogy.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know, Chris, that's exactly right. I was, since this group has been formed, the trilogy family, quote unquote, I mean, they keep changing and it's
Yes.
like, you know, they're
Yes.
here, they're there, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, just keeping up with them.
Yeah, most of those
Is it-
girls are under 20, so that's a lot of transitioning and all, yes, right.
Okay. Her name is
It's
Stephanie
Stephanie.
Bradshaw.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
so,
pull that.
yes, so yes, she was under Dan, so I don't know if they just, I don't know. So yeah. Okay.
So, anyway, it's just that's what my point about a trifold is that, you know, there's so much movement between organizations. I think it'd be better if it's something we could, you know, create ourselves, and then we can correct it as it needs to be done, and also keep it on the website.
Well,
So-
and that allows it to be in a more current form too.
Yeah. So the question, are we redundant if we do this? Because the names in the companies that are members are already listed on the directory of the chamber, correct?
Mhm.
So if somebody wanted to, they could just go to the chamber and pull up it's divided by like area. I don't think it's all just alphabetical, is it? Aren't there categories?
Well, both.
Okay, so I mean, if somebody really wanted it, the information is actually already there. But I think what Jim's point is if we had one that's just specific for seniors that we could have, or somebody could go on and pull off.
Yeah, I think it's,
I mean,
I think that's the idea, like kind of like what we were talking about before we had to cancel the festival, we were going to set a corner for our group. So we would kind of be a one stop and be able to hit up to a dozen or so folks that would be in the senior synergy group area to be able, excuse me, so they could, take advantage of it in just a couple of steps, literally from each different table. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what the idea is. At least that's what.
Right.
Yeah, Nancy?
Yes.
What I was thinking too was to list the organizations and not necessarily, and give the organization information and the organization contact. We don't have to list the member contact information, but just a resource guide that if you're meeting with a client and they say, oh, well, we're downsizing their mother and we're looking for nursing homes, you could say, well, here, these are ones that I know, and this is what they do, and this may help you find a good fit for your mom.
And Jim, you were not present at the last meeting, and the speaker we had, Tom Lampkin with Care Patrol. He is Care Patrol, and there are a couple other agencies here in town that do senior placement, and they are kind of that one stop that help people do that, so that if you have somebody that doesn't want to be the ones calling individually all the different places, their services at Care Patrol and Oasis and senior transitions, all of those, there's a contact person that can talk to your client and decide or understand what their needs are through assessments and that type of thing, and help determine between financial, physical needs, and that kind of stuff, narrow that big scope of where do I go, narrow it down and tailor it more to the client, and then take them on tours of 3 or 4.
Well, that's what Joy and Joy
Tabler,
Taylor was doing. That was what her organization was doing.
Right. There's a couple other ones that do that now also.
And they could be listed.
They did not rejoin, by the way.
I know.
So if anybody's got any influence, I've reached out to them a couple times, but
well, they didn't join because
the
COVID and cutting back on everything. But Joy's a neighbor of mine. I'll talk to her.
Okay. Because they were very active with this group, and also a great resource for everybody.
Yeah, but I think if we print something in writing and just have it so it's available, it would be a great recruiting tool, because if an organization saw they weren't listed in there, they would say, well, why don't you have us in there? Well, join the chamber, join us, and you can get in there, and we can splice you in right now.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's something that we can start working on.
And we can print out little trifolds and kind of spread them around. I'd like to have a couple in my briefcase just to carry with me, because I've been dealing with a guy he's looking at doing home care for his brother, and he's lined up about 6 different people. And I keep telling him, well, you got to do the payroll taxes, you got to be the liability insurance, you got to make sure they show up every day, you got to have a coordinator. And I said, it might be cheaper and more efficient to go with an agency that's going to take care of all of that.
It's actually, Jim, it's actually cheaper if he will come and look at Story Point and move into Story Point, let us provide those care needs. If he's paying privately, I don't know. I mean, my last patient I had over a year ago when I was doing OT home health, that patient was paying $14,000 a month for private care 24/7. And that was with his wife there that could have helped him, but just didn't want to, couldn't. It's very expensive to pay for private care.
It's like $25 an hour, I think.
It's more, it's more than that. And then there's 4 hours.
That's not skilled, yeah.
Right, yeah, and it's 4-hour minimums. If they want them to drive them somewhere, then they got to pay mileage. It's
now Story Point. Where are you located? I get them all mixed up.
So we're there in Middletown. Do you know where Panera is?
Yeah.
Okay. That is Meridian Hills Drive. You go down about 3/4 of a mile, that dead ends.
Yeah, I
And
know.
we
Okay.
sit on the right-hand side in 12 acres tucked into the trees right there.
You all been doing some commercials on ABC?
If we have, I'm not aware of
WHS.
it. I don't know. Marketing may have done it from the corporate level and I'm not aware of it. But we're independent living, but we also have what's called enhanced living, and we own our own non-medical company. So they are there to provide assistance as needed for residents.
Well, we're looking for dementia care.
So, okay, so how is he dementia care, as in, is he exit seeking? Is he a danger to himself?
Yeah,
All right, so like he would leave the house if someone wasn't watching him, he'd walk away.
yeah, they found him out in the road,
Okay,
face down.
okay. So another option is that we just purchased Exceptional Living in Prospect.
Mhm.
And so that is now called Story Point Prospect. And we do have memory care there. And it is all switching to the Story Point way. We just did our Iron Chef interview yesterday, and another one I think today. So to hire the new executive chef for out there, because our executive chefs have to go through an Iron Chef challenge so that they can, and they are 5-star
What does
chefs.
it cost a month in Story Point?
You know,
for
well,
memory
I know
care?
what ours is. I don't know the price points for Prospect yet.
Well, what's
But I can
yours?
definitely, I can find out. A 1-bedroom with us starts at 2,500, and a 2-bedroom is 3,800.
But they'd still have to have somebody stay with him, give him his
And
meds and take care of him, feed him, dressing.
And then you
Need memory
add
care.
whatever services you need. So that's when you could reach out to, we would have Loris, our non-medical company, to communicate with them and do an assessment and say, okay, he needs help with bathing, he needs help with the bathroom, he needs.
Yeah,
making
that's why
sure-
they were thinking, instead of paying a nursing home and the caregivers, they would just get a group to come next door. I mean, because he lives across the street from his brother and he got a nice house. He could stay in there.
So the thing is,
have
Jim,
the
once
caregivers.
you pay for that, it's more cost effective to actually move into a community, even if it's a memory. I mean, let's say that memory is going to be, $7,000 a month. And that's all meals provided and all the care that he would need and what have you. That's still a lot less than what he's going to pay for private caregivers coming into the home.
But that's not going to provide 24-hour-a-day care for him.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes,
Well, and the
If
other
he's-
advantage.
in one of our communities.
The other advantage that I think we here in the senior community, we understand that some people just want to stay at home. But we have to understand, since we're talking about caregiver support pretty much in this particular meeting, and caregiver services, that what you have to weigh into this conversation, that so many people overlook, is that if you do take on the task of providing the in-home care yourself, what is that doing psychologically, physically, all those aspects, just to the person living or having to take care of that person. Even if you're swapping out between brothers and sisters or somebody lives across the street, you can't relax, you can't enjoy that time with that parent or that family member, because all that you're doing is just feeding, bathing, medical, and doing all of that. And it's so much better if you can have someone if they need that much care, have them into a memory care situation where the family can know, I can rest tonight because I know that if something in the middle of the night happens, or during the day, there's somebody there 24/7. They're locked in the unit. That's not bad, where they can't wander. They've got their whole wing, but they're not going to wind up in the middle of the night getting out. All of their, anything happens, they've got medical right at their, right there. But it's just taxing on the family members, which is why Laura was talking about, we need somebody, these support groups, because family members need respite care now, because they're, it's messing with their kids, it's messing with their jobs, it's just messing with their quality of life.
Yeah.
So if a family member can say, I know that my family member is getting the care they need 24/7, then that family member can go and spend time with them that's quality time and not medical time.
Right.
Yeah,
I've said all of that.
That's a big thing. And
It's
especially if they have, like,
huge.
Yeah,
Well,
but they live out in the country in Shelbyville and they
there's
need something
services.
close to home.
Well, there's plenty of stuff in Shelbyville, don't you think, Kim? I mean, yeah.
As
I
far
looked
as,
at the Masonic home.
right,
So- so they-
have they looked at Masonic Home in Shelbyville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were in a rehab center in LaGrange.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
Well, call me after, Jim, and
they
I'll,
just think, that's why I said I would like to have, to pick one, do they all offer the same level of memory care?
no.
No. So
And that's
every,
what I'm talking about,
Right.
differentiating in a pamphlet. Is
Right.
that not everybody offered, because I found this with my father. He couldn't get up, he couldn't bathe himself, he couldn't dress himself. But if you turned your back on him, he'd get up and leave the room. And so we couldn't get him into a memory care unit. We couldn't get him into a skilled level unit because he could get up. We were at a conduit. We had to have him at home because we couldn't find a place that would keep him.
yeah, that's a shame. I can't imagine, yeah, that shouldn't happen. And that's where I'll become your advocate. So even if we are not a fit for you, I will help you find the right resources to find the right fit that's appropriate for you and your family, because that's just not right. And that's also just part of the OT in me also. And it's just the Story Point way. I can't tell you how many people that I've connected with low income housing. I've helped them get their food stamps. They couldn't afford to live with us. However, they had needs, and those needed to be met so that they could live a dignified life. So we're going to make sure that we're going to share resources with you.
Well, they have the resources to pay for somebody to come to the house 24/7.
Right. I'm just saying, if we are not the right fit for someone, that we are more than happy to help you get connected with, whether it be, the Legacy there, English Station or what have you.
Yeah, and I have done the payroll tax returns for people that have had home caregivers. And that gets quite burdensome for them, keeping up with the hours and reporting the taxes and paying the taxes and stuff.
Right. Yeah,
So, Tom-
and to speak on what Nancy was saying earlier about the family, we've got a couple right now that's in for a 30 day, and the daughter cried. She's like, I can be a daughter again. So she was just so happy that we were taking over all these duties of toileting and showering and what have you, so she can actually just come and spend time with mom and dad and be a daughter.
Yeah, I've been through that
Yeah.
personally,
Tough.
so I understand.
Yeah.
But
So,
I also understand my clients have certain ideals about keeping people home. And
Oh, absolutely. And if they want to be home, there's definitely non-medical caregivers, like we're saying, and I can see which ones come out in Shelby County and give you those resources.
yeah, because I think they'd be better off with a service, because you got the liability, the workers' comp, the insurance, the accountability, and you don't have to keep up with the hours. And like you said, you're not responsible if somebody doesn't show up, they don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Tom, we kind of got off topic, although that was very important. So you're wanting us to come up with some more ideas on who would be good speakers for the upcoming meetings, some topics.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Because that seems to be what most people are wanting, is to hear topics that are current and can educate people that attend this group. And I think, with COVID hopefully coming to an end in terms of having to do the way we've been doing things with Zoom, and I think Laura said this probably 2 or 3 meetings back, everybody's kind of zoomed out of doing meetings, and we look at our attendance that we've been seeing. Last week when we had Tom speak, the other Tom, last month, we had a spike in registrations, and that was really good. So that kind of tells me that that's the way I think we need to head in terms of the group, as opposed to what we were doing, which was each of the members doing a presentation at each of the meetings, to help us learn.
Yeah, you know, I think we've kind of been there, done that. And I'm really hoping that we're going to see a little leeway as far as us being able to get back together as a group. Maybe not, we may not be able to provide the food. You may have to bring your own lunch, but, you know, we may be able to start getting together. I know there's Governor Bashir is supposed to be making an announcement on Monday about that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be taking that to heart. And oh, I'm sorry, my screen has fallen. Taking that to heart and getting us back in person as soon as we can. So.
Well, the nice thing about you know, the room where we were meeting at City Hall there, what is that? What do they call that room, Laura? I'm sorry.
Just the City Hall meeting room.
Okay, well, that was a really complicated title.
Yeah.
I should have been able to remember. Yeah, the nice thing is that room is big enough. We could, you know, we can really space people out and still get, you know, 15 or so people without, you know, being on top of everybody.
Right.
So I think facility wise, as soon as we can start getting some numbers going with everything, I think that holds a lot of promise. And I'd like to think that when it gets to the point we get to say, hey, we get to do this in person, people are going to start flocking because this is an opportunity to be social as well as educated. So to come back around, Nancy, to what you were saying, yeah, you know, ideas of people that would be able to bring topics into this group. I think that's how we're going to have to rebuild post-COVID and get things back to where we are getting an average of 15 to 20 folks a meeting. Because Laura, are we what, 65 or 70 is on the mailing list? Am I right about that?
I've deleted a few people because we've had a few that have not rejoined. So I'm going to say we're down to closer about 40 right now.
40? Oh, okay. Okay.
But we want to contact those people and get them back in.
Yes, we do.
Tom?
Yeah.
One thing about the City Hall meeting room is, don't they have audio video there? I wonder if we could start out with a combination in-person Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And let everybody have their camera on their face, their phone camera on their face, and Zoom with everybody else. And we could still network together. And the people that don't feel comfortable coming out could watch it on Zoom.
Well,
We
I
all
will
have
just give
iPhones.
you
We all
a little FYI.
do
We
it.
did try that for a board meeting, and it was a disaster because of the audio.
Oh,
I don't mind trying it again, but all the board members said that was not effective at all.
Well, that's a learning experience,
Yeah.
a learning curve.
But because of where the laptop sits,
yeah.
if you're going to speak, you have to get up and go over to the laptop. Like this kind of a discussion that we're having right now would be difficult for everybody to do because we're all talking at the same time. So if you want to get near where the microphone is on the laptop, you have to get up and go over there and, you know, talk into it and get closer to it.
Laura, are
What?
you using your phone right now?
No.
I've used my phone on it before, and everybody has an iPhone or has a smartphone that could do it. So we could be sitting there at the table with our phone propped up in front of us, Zooming with everybody else and still having lunch and talking to people next to us.
Yeah.
The only problem with that, Jim, is you get all the feedback and you
Yeah,
get all this
all the different
echoing
phones.
because it's everyone's on.
Well, we still got to socially distance the space.
Well, you know, we might have to get with, is Jeff still do the website stuff, Laura?
Jeff does our computers and phones, and Chris does our website.
Oh, Chris does the website. Okay.
Who's Jeff?
Jeff Gladney.
Okay.
Maybe he might have a suggestion, Laura, of how to make the idea work. Because I understand, I'm visualizing, and I know exactly what you're talking about, where the laptop is, to have to get up, go over, and then, because I know they've got those two screens up there that everybody can see, all the other people, but it's the talking part that is a little bit different in that room. But maybe he
Yes.
might have a suggestion of how that can be
But if we
remedied.
were all on our phone,
Without it getting all the feedback issues and so on and so
well, you
forth.
just mute your voice if you're not talking.
That could be that's a big room, and so it does echo. There's a
It does
lot
echo.
of feedback, as
Yeah,
Chris says
and I
in
will
there. I
tell
just
you-
know that we had 8 people in there, and it was awful. It was just awful.
Yeah, and I can tell you also, the courts have been doing Zoom since about June of last year, and not a day goes by that we don't have. And Jim, I'm kind of going in your direction a little bit here with this, where we have people that are on their phones and they don't mute, and we're getting all the background. We get the dogs, we get them having a fight, arguing, the doorbell, they got to run out and get the package and all that kind of stuff. And that all gets put on the court record. And the judge is constantly saying, mute, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So what you're saying makes sense from a technical standpoint. The unfortunate part is that the operators sometimes are not on top of their game. And that causes a problem if someone's trying to, give us some information, and then we get somebody that forgets to mute the phone. But I'm not saying it's a dead issue by any means. I think it's a starting point of how we can blend and make the meeting accessible for the ones that are still a little hesitant to come out, but they would still like to participate.
Well, and I do have the capability as the host to mute everybody. I can do it right now.
Yeah. Don't. That was very good, Laura. You just muted everybody. The power of the button. You can unmute yourselves now if you wish individually. But yeah, I mean, that's one way to address the problem of the operator not paying attention. So yeah, would it be worth sending out kind of a general email to the 40 or so folks that are still on the list, and see if we can get some input from them as well. I mean, I certainly, and Laura, it probably would, if you could send me the list so I can see who's actually still in the group. Like Jim was saying, maybe we can do a little reach out for some of the ones that are not on the list, at least the ones I remember. Well, let me ask you this question, Laura. Is it possible to also send out the list of those who have dropped off? If that list is easy to do, because that would make it easier instead of trying to scratch my head and remember everybody that's not there. You're muted, Laura. Okay. Laura, can't hear you. You're muted, Laura. The office looks great, Laura, but I still can't hear you. You don't know what you did. Try to unmute your laptop there that you're using.
Well, like we said, this is all a learning curve.
Yep.
And I think,
Okay.
and difference with you, Tom, most of the people here that are members are professionals, as opposed to people making personal appearances in court from home. because they can't attend,
Oh,
we
it's
have a little
attorneys
more
too.
control over
And
our
it's not just-
environment.
It's not just those. The attorneys are guilty too.
Well,
I
that's what I was
think-
talking about.
I think if we can figure a way to make everybody happy, if you want to be there in person, if you want to zoom in, I'll ask Jeff what's the best way to do that. Or Tom, you probably will see him before I see him.
Probably will.
Yeah. So we'll both hit him.
Okay.
Hit him up and ask him.
Okay.
Okay, well, so even if we had 15 people, can we accommodate that now? I mean, are we allowed to do that in person?
I'm
If
thinking
we
I'm gonna
socially
know
distance.
Monday. That's why
Huh?
I'm waiting to see what, like I said, we may not be able to do the food thing and everybody would have to bring their own lunch.
Mhm.
But he stated on the news last night that he was gonna make an announcement on Monday about gatherings and how many and so forth and so on.
Yeah, because I've attended a couple of things recently where it was in person and it was all socially distanced, actually more than socially. I mean, it was like way more than 6 feet. And it was great. Everybody was still masked. Most everybody already had their 2 COVID shots. And then they had it was a boxed lunch you got as you walked out the door. You couldn't eat it there. Somebody provided that. And they're going to this particular group, they're talking about maybe having to show your, before you sign up for something, you have to show your 2 COVID, shots, your card that has the 2, if you want to be unmasked. But I don't know what they're going to do on that right now. But I mean, that was a pretty good event. And like I said, it wasn't highly attended, but and it was spaced out over a little bit of a time. So it was kind of a come and go open house kind of thing. But I don't see why, if we only have 15 people, like I say, once the governor kind of gives us the go ahead that that's okay, then I don't think the Zoom's going to make any difference, because if they're not on it now, they're not going to be on it if we're in person. That's my opinion. So I think if we transition back to more in person, I think that might be good, or every other time.
Well, I
That's
think
about
so
it.
too.
Then,
And it could be then we can also resume going to the different locations like we were doing.
Mhm. Well, something
know,
else I
so-
was wondering too, and I think that's a great idea. We just expanded our office. We're not ready for visitors yet, but maybe one day we'll be able to do that here. The other thing we had talked about at one point, and maybe we can kind of revisit it now because it may take us a while to get there, is we had talked about having like a senior vendor fair, kind of senior, we don't want to call it a health fair, but something like that could be an open, socially distanced. We're not all crammed together. Have, 10 tables or whatever of different categories, and have people come and go over a period of a couple hours, some kind of I'll call it a vendor fair or whatever. So that might be something in line with what Jim was talking about earlier. Here's some different services. Here you can meet them face to face and kind of get an idea of what you're doing. That might be a nice promotional thing, and it doesn't have to be tied with the festival or anything else. I think it'd be a freestanding thing.
Yeah. I mean, we could do, a couple
Laura?
hours.
What?
Laura,
What?
are we gonna have any concerts in the park this year?
Yes, they have decided to go ahead with the concerts in the park. I don't know any other details, but they have already published the schedule on the city's website. I don't know if they're doing food or not because of CDC. I don't
think
know
the
specifics,
Lions
but they
were
are moving ahead.
Yeah, the Lions were talking about doing the food.
Yeah, but I don't
Like
know
they-
right now with CDC guidelines if they can do that or not.
Yeah, but I was thinking that would be a good time to set up a table before the concert.
Just as
Yeah.
seniors, just our group, a table for just like our group.
Yeah, or a couple of tables for our group and show what we got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just have to get permission from the mayor, to do that.
Because a lot of those people are senior citizens that walk
Yeah.
over there.
So Laura, on the email, if you can send it out to the people that are members, and just, get some feedback from them, like Tom was saying, who has ideas on what topics they would like to hear. And I think if they do respond, at least we're getting direct feedback, and that's why maybe they're not showing up, because they're not hearing what they want to hear. So if we can specifically ask them, what topics would you like information on? What topics, would you attend a meeting if we, had on that? And one thing that I've got, would anybody think that the VA aid and attendance, somebody that would explain that, would that be something that's good, that would kind of hit all of our industries?
I think it would be.
Oh, because Tom, you would benefit from that too, right? To know, okay. And Kim, I'm sure you would too, because people get the money for that to be able to help afford all of their living assistance. And Jim, that's, so I can look into that.
Yeah, at least on this
Yeah,
call.
any help you all can give me, because you got to remember that I'm assisting about 5 other groups with trying to get speakers and topics and communications and everything. So Tom, what I was going to say is it won't take me long to get a list of the members who had not rejoined the chamber, so that consequently they dropped from the senior synergy. It won't take me long to get that to you.
All right.
And then I'll get that email sent out. And then Chris, who did you say that other company besides Bright Star, you asked if they were?
Home Instead. Yeah, Home Instead.
I feel like I've seen a commercial about them or something, maybe.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. It's Becky Bean Blossom that owns that.
Becky Bean.
Well, and I know Tammy Cannonberg with Home Watch.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I love Tammy.
Tammy's
Yeah, no, they're-
awesome.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
a member.
There's,
I remember.
she would most definitely do it.
She was in this group for a long
Yeah,
time.
they have spoken. They were one of our speakers
Yeah.
about a year and a half
Yeah.
ago.
Tammy's a sweetheart. She's been around a long time.
Yeah.
She knows the ins and outs and who's gone where and all of that.
Yeah.
So she would be a good one for that caregiver, caregiver services.
Mhm.
If you don't have somebody else.
But yeah, any help y'all can give me suggestions on speakers. I'll do send out the email to all of our current senior synergy members about topics or things that they would like to hear more about. Anything like that you all can help me because
Okay.
sometimes I get just a little brain dead on trying to come up with topics and speakers for everybody else, as well as what the chamber's trying to get done. And I do want to tell you all, if you did not zoom in on our chamber call yesterday, where our representative Nemus gave us a summary of what happened in the general session the beginning of the year. It was awesome. It has been recorded. It's on the website. Go back and listen to it, because he talked about some of the bills that have affected businesses in Middletown and so forth and so on. So it's good information for everybody to listen to.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And just as off topic, but Laura, I loved coming to that ribbon cutting last week. So I'm really going to make a conscious effort that was very fun. That's a great networking opportunity.
Oh, yes. Yes. And we've got several coming up. I'm just waiting for a specific time on a couple of them. They've given me the date, but not what time. But yeah, I love ribbon cuttings.
Yeah,
Was that a
was
gather?
fun.
Was that gather?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah. And it is a great way to network and meet new people.
Mm-hmm.
Are those getting published in other than chamber chatter? Are those still getting
Right now, just in chamber chatter, because it seems like most people are looking at that all the time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because we send that out weekly. So like there was the one that just went out this past Tuesday, there was a ribbon cutting in there for Sean Smith with Edward Jones, who's going to have his ribbon cutting the first part of May. May 6th.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see Sean on there. I just got an email from him this morning, but
Yeah,
anyway.
but look on the chamber chatter. It's on there. It's like on the second page, Yeah.
okay.
Second page.
Lots of information in that chamber chatter.
Yeah,
that we're trying to-
I save it every week and mark everything on my calendar, and then when the next one comes out, I delete the old one.
Yeah, everybody is loving that weekly communication. So
Okay. So we good?
All right.
we're exactly 12:45.
12:45. So
All
I guess we'll wrap this up. See. I think is it May the 14th? Is that the second Thursday? in
That's the
May?
second, yes.
Okay. All right then. So we'll send out the list. If you know anybody on the list of drops and can get in touch with them, great. Let's find out. Try to see, A, can we get them back in, or B, why they decided to leave us.
Actually, Friday, May 14th, not Thursday.
Oh, did I say Friday? I'm sorry.
No, it is Friday, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I got worried there. I thought,
But
no, I messed
No,
up.
Laura, you said Thursday about Jason Nemus, and it latched on to Thursday when I said that. I looked at the right day, but I had a number, but the wrong day of the week.
Right. That's okay. Just double checking.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad somebody's out there listening to what I actually say. All right, then. We all have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
And we'll have the scramble will be over by then, so we'll have some great golf stories by then.
And also,
Oh, that's
Mr.
the
Stone,
20th, isn't it?
I just want to plug in, waiting to get a date for your ribbon cutting.
Yeah, well, we want to do the ribbon cutting when we can actually get together and do some a little bit closer than just standing 6 feet apart.
Okay. All right.
So that's what we're trying to do. So
Well, you're still on my
hopefully
radar, so
hopefully in May.
okay.
All
And I
right.
think we'll know more on Monday. So,
Yeah, I do
Okay.
too. I do
Yeah.
too.
Good.
all right, everybody have a great weekend.
You too.
Laura,
Jim,
Will
keep
do.
surviving tax season.
yeah, are you going to do another COVID screening?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
It has not been scheduled, but I have seen some signs around town of places that are doing COVID screening.
Yeah, where did I just see that?
I saw one there on
Something
right there
off.
off Breckenridge Lane.
Yeah, and I think I saw one near Oxmoor Shopping Center the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somewhere back there. Scramble is on for the 10th, right?
Yes,
Laura?
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was right. That will occur before our next meeting. So
Right.
Nancy made me think.
So
I
it's
got
on,
it
it's always on a Monday,
Monday.
Mhm.
Monday the 10th. Okay.
Yeah, because golf courses are
I've got it
closed
on Thursday the
Mondays.
20th, so I've got to change that real quick, but that's good.
If
Okay.
you show up on the 20th, you'll be by yourself, Nancy.
Okay, I have the 20th also. That's what's within the March. The golf scramble is not May 20th?
No, it's the 10th. Look on the flyer.
Yeah, I did on that one. That's where I just wrote it down when I looked up that flyer that's,
I think in the email, I might have said 20th, but it's the 10th. I sent an email out. and
yes,
corrected
the email does say the 20th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
But I
Laura,
promise
just
it's the
send,
10th.
yeah, and send me what time you need me to be there.
The
that's-
registration starts at 7:30, so I'd say if you were there by 7, I know
Just coffee, that's all I need.
I'll have some coffee for you.
Okay.
You're not a morning person, as I recall.
No, not, never have been. But yeah, call me at midnight and I'll answer the phone. So, it all works out. So that's okay.
All right,
No,
everybody.
I can shine. As my husband says, if you were going to be on a plane, you would be up, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's all just a matter of, working. But see, half my clients don't talk to me until, 3 o'clock or later.
Yeah.
Because they talk to me in the evenings when they're not working.